G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsaiworx. It's David here. Today I've got a very interesting large spruce bonsai that I've showcased in my videos before. It's been part of a few videos that I've done previously, and it's gone through quite a few iterations, styling and so on. What I've done today, I pulled it out of the garden wanting to actually have a look at it closer. Now it's spring here and you could probably see the nice lighter foliage here. That's the new spring growth shooting out. I don't have much experience with spruce, but from a very, very experienced person in Melbourne who's probably one of the best in Australia, gave me some advice with the spruces when they start to shoot the new foliage. You can break that in half to help bud back and inner buds to develop, which is what I'm planning to do today as one of the steps. But what I actually wanted to do with this tree is, you can probably see in the camera, it doesn't give you a good three-dimensional view of the trunk. If I pull it to the side, you can probably see the movement now. You can see the movement in that trunk. Yeah, so you notice that. What I had to do, this tree, you can probably see if I put it on the side again, it's pretty much, the top is now kind of in the middle, right in the middle over here, in the middle of the pot. Now, you probably can just see this wire at the back. What I did today without filming, I thought, oh, maybe I'll film it after I did that, which I should have filmed it during, but all I did was, this tree was kind of all the way falling really forward. Now, I don't want to try and do that because it's positioned in the pot pretty well at the moment, but it had to actually, if I pull it to the side, if that's the side, it was actually almost leaning all the way over like this, and I couldn't really, it wasn't really suiting it in the pot at that angle. I want to really look at the tree at the right angle, so I decided to pull it back. So pull it back, now the trunk goes a little bit back and then comes forward, which is much nicer, and the apex sits kind of in the middle of the pot at the top, right, you know, at the base in the middle of this pot, so which is what I like. It looks better. But now there's all the branches are wrong, so totally wrong. Everything needs to be kind of pushed down and rewired and repositioned and so on. What you can't see is there's a tree in here, there's a tree in there, and then there's the apex as well. So it's almost like a three-headed tree, or three trunk tree, but not trunked, but it's more three branches that have developed into a tree. So I really want to take it to the next level. Always looking to improve your trees. Now, sorry about the background, but if I didn't put something up, you wouldn't be able to see a single thing. So it looks pretty dodgy, but it is what it is at the moment. Not much I can do. I'm just a simple, bonsai hobbyist who enjoys bonsai and just work in my backyard on my trees and just film it for people. And I'm the feedback from you guys is great. That it's good to help beginners out. It keeps it quite simple, and thank you for the feedback on that. So let's get stuck into it. I don't know how much of this I'll film, but it's going to be pretty tedious, some of these work, but I'll show you what I'm pretty much going to do is, I'm not going to sit behind because I want the background, or I'll sit to the side of it, and we'll see what we can talk about. But everything now is kind of, you'll see it in this example here, see how the branch is like that now, because previously when the whole tree was bent over, it was flat. So now we've got to really reposition a lot of these branches. And I'll look at each branch and look at it rewiring if I needed to. So I might work on this branch first, the small one, and then work my way up. Just thought I'd do that. I might work on the smaller trunk here, then I'll work on that one, then I'll figure out how the apex is going to sit all amongst there. I do need to do some gin work. There's quite a few gins in this area that I want to clean up. So what all I'm doing is taking the tree to the next level. I will try and film how I cut these back, but it's really just cutting the new growth pretty much in half, or to a bud. If you see a bud, like I did see some before, there were some buds that I could see further down, so I was going to cut back to those, but that's pretty much what I'm going to try on this tree today. So I've repositioned it in the pot. Now I've got to reposition all the branches and really I really want to start to refine this tree quite heavily. I've also noticed there's been some back budding as well, which is really positive, which is really good, which is what I want to try and promote. So let's start. Really, all I'm going to do is start to pull everything back down and really start to make a tree again. And what I really want to try and do is try and compact the tree a little bit more as well. So the good news is probably I don't have to wire too much because all the wire's still on the tree. It hasn't really cut in or anything like that. and the birds are chirping away. Sorry, lots of birds in this area. Sometimes there'll be multiple buds that maybe I will have to wipe some of these smaller ones out, but a lot of the main ones can be, yeah, see. What I want is try and encourage back budding. So there is some nice back budding in this branch in here. It's starting to happen. So I really want to flatten out a lot of these pads. So we'll see how we do it. But I'll probably need to put a bit of wire just to get it all flattened out. So let me start working on this and let me do this work, and I'll probably put a time lapse on this piece of work in this area, and we'll see what it looks like at the end. Okay, so you would have I did the whole speed time lapse on just this portion of the tree. Now that was over half an hour, just over half an hour to just wire all this out, redo the wiring, trim it. It's not too bad. I think there's a bit more work to do, of course. I've got a lot of nice little back budding starting to happen, so I didn't wire all that. Apex needs a bit more work. Some of the new branches are growing the apex, which is fantastic. So there's some nice, lots of new back budding in here as well, which is awesome. So it does bud back on reasonably old wood, not entirely old like this, but on nice youngish branching they do bud back really well. So I'll just bring it around there. You'll see probably the layers. You can probably see I've layered the tree nicely. There's a nice base one first, and then brought some in. I just wanted to compact the tree as well. I found the tree was quite wide and going out too far, like started to drift out too far. So I brought everything right back in by pushing all the wiring back in and putting it, and it should almost form a nice, I think it's got a nice kind of more rounded shape now. Not exactly triangular, but it's getting there, like it's that kind of look now, and it's got the layers. So just wiring, letting the tree develop, positioning and pushing back the growth, pushing everything back in. Fantastic. I can see lots of back budding in it, and it's looking really good. So I'm going to move across to this side of the tree. It's quite a large side, but I think the other thing, pretty much I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to really try and compact the tree. Everything I'm just trying to compact the tree. So we'll have to work on the apex and see what we can do there as well. We've got to really compact the apex down as well. So I'm just going to do that. Maybe I'll put a little time lapse on that side, but that's a lot more work. And we'll see what it comes out to be. It might be very fast, me working like a madman in the time lapse, but we'll see how it looks. Okay, so we'll do that as well on that side of the tree, and we'll start to develop the tree. So you can see we've just done this. Nice back budding everywhere, which is really good. It's a nice triangular, kind of rounded triangular shape in here now. It looks quite nice, compacted. It's almost a little mini tree on its own. You know, if that whole branch came off, you can have a nice little tree on its own. But yeah, let's get stuck into the other side now. Okay. Okay everyone, so I just thought I'd hold the video there because I was working on this side of the tree. Now what I've been able to do is, you can see this nice big pad. Oh, should I bring the tree? Oh no, I'll just leave it there. This nice big pad I've worked on, really looks good. Now there's this branch in here, I'm putting my hand on. Now I've brought that into this spot here too, and it kind of blocks a little bit of the trunk, which is good because it's a bit straight. So I've just brought that. So this branch was actually all the way in the back over here, and I've been able to maneuver it back right into the front. Probably needs a little bit more work just to get it exactly right where I want to put it. Then there's this branch here that now comes around and fills in this gap into here. Now that was at the back as well, so I've brought it right around. So I've tried to fill out the pads in here. So I've got a nice big one, a small one across the trunk, one just a little bit higher. Now I've come with the dilemma. It's this area in here. Now, if you look at it side on, maybe I can show you. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's pretty forward. This branch here that forms this goes back. I'm not sure if you can see, but it goes back and then comes around. So it goes back and comes around. I'm trying to figure out how I can fill in a gap in here with this branch. I'm not having much luck. So I need to really think about what I'm going to do now to fix this area up here. The apex is wrong in a way. This is quite heavy, and I'm not going to be able to. I was trying to see if I can maneuver it and change it around, change directions, which I will play around with. But I'm going to have to try and come up with an idea to really come in and fill in this gap in somewhere in here. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do just yet, so it's a bit of a tricky one. It's a little bit, sometimes you've got to experiment, I guess. Some things that were totally in the wrong spot, I've been able to bring them around and put them in the right spot. So this branch, as I said, was all the way in the back. This one all the way in the back. Now I've brought them forward and filling in these gaps. It makes a nicer tree in this area, but we've got to keep filling up this area in here too. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to try and figure out what I'm going to do with this branching. There's a branch at the back that was trying to create an apex, so I don't know. I'm going to have to try and figure out what I'm going to do here. The apex up here for the top tree, I think this is going to be an easy one. That's not going to be hard to work on. That's quite easy. I can bring it right down. We can make some nice pads in there. It's really the only issue I've got is this area in here. So I'm going to go away and have a think about it, and try a few things, and then I'll come back and show you guys. Alright, so I thought I'd touch base, and what I've decided to do is this branch here that was causing me the grief. Well, it's a bit hard to show you unfortunately, but I was able to guide wire. I twisted that right around back again. So I almost made a big corkscrew to really bring all this in closer to this trunk. So what will eventually happen is I'll bring this apex down and we'll fill in this area here. But the most important thing is this branch that was way out there. So this branch was actually out here. It's going to cause me grief. By doing that twist, I was able to bend this stem right around and bring it right around, and it's going to actually fill in this gap in here. I haven't fine wired it yet. That's what I think is going to work. I think it's going to work. So I'm going to bring that all in, wire it up, and put it into a place around here. I'll bring this guy around here. I'll bring the apex back down and put it on top of here, and then we should have that nice tree on this side. Hard to explain, but ended up being, this is very flexible, really, really flexible. So I was pretty much putting about close to 60-70 degree bend in the trunk back here. I think you can probably just see it. You can probably just see, probably just see that all the way now coming around. This was sticking out here. Now it's gone all the way back around. So by twisting it around, you compact the tree. So that's what I was able to do. Now I'm going to work through wiring this all out, trying to bring the apex in. Do I use that, or do I just use this? Or this I think I'd like to use branch to cover this section here, because it doesn't look that pretty. By having this branch in here, will cover this section up. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm going to finish off this tree. I'll just come back and show you the result rather than do a time lapse, because I've done a few of those today. And my battery's running out, so I want to try and save the battery. But yeah, that's what I'll plan to. I'll just wire this out, and I'll show you this side of the tree. We've done the small one, done the medium one, and then we'll finish off the apex. So we'll see what it looks like. Okay everyone, so I've been able to clean this up and get it looking nice and triangular in shape as well. It's like a little bit bigger version of this. I mean, it's a bit hard in the camera to see, especially because I haven't done any of this work on this tree, but you know, you can probably see the layers. It actually worked really well. I ended up being able to compact that quite nicely, so it's really compacted down and it forms, you can just see that forming. Ignore that kind of area there, we haven't done that yet, but this has come along really nicely. So, nice little update there. I think the tree is coming along really, really well. I take a step back and you can kind of see the two nice small, medium, and then the overall apex. And that's what we've got to really, I want to really try and crank this down quite a bit. I don't want to have such a big, it's very high still. I want to get it down to about here, I think. Should be pretty easy. Just got to check some of the wire. It looks like it's starting to cut in, so probably have to rewire a lot of that. But get it down, get this branch maybe into here, see if we can get it into this area here. Yeah, there's a really big back branch at the moment, so that's probably another issue I've got here. So how big that is. Probably have to kick it that bit smaller or bring it down a lot more. But let's have a go. But you can definitely see now the shape of the tree. If you look side on, you probably see this nice. This is a little bit forward now, which is good. This is now the apex, which is too far back. It's got to come forward. So little things like that you just start to notice as the tree comes together. But this has been a huge improvement. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. It's just going to get better and better now once I establish this. I just want to work on this area a little bit more. I'm not entirely happy with it just yet, but I think I'll get there. It's just the apex part. Probably just needs to be slightly tweaked. Yeah, just needs a few tweaks to get it right, but looking good. Now I'm going to get started on this section, and so really there's only a few branches here, big one at the back, a few ones on the side, but I just wanted to double check. I can see the wire cutting in some of the branches up here, so I probably have to take them off and reapply wire, but I'll come back and show you the result. Alright everyone, so I have completed the full wiring and restyle of this tree. I think I really like how it's come out. It's almost like a full whole tree, one bigger overall tree, but you probably can see the three kind of separate trees. There's now this tree in here that we styled before. This tree now is a bit more, you can probably just see it. I know there's a bit of confusion probably with the background, but you can just see there's a nice secondary medium-sized tree, small, medium, and then the overall apex isn't too much. It's just giving you an overall composition in here, but there's still some space. I've left some space so the birds can fly through, as they say. So it's come up, I think, actually pretty good. Just some guy wires I've got to clean up. So I didn't remove too much big branching. There's a few smaller branches that I removed. Now I'll show you from the back. I did, so that back branch that was here, that's quite a heavy one, I really tweaked that down and really brought it in closer to the trunk. So what I've done is try to compact the tree on itself more. So you can probably make out the trunk in the back here. You see it wiggling its way. It's pretty hidden now, but it's wiggling its way and it's giving you depth at the back of that and that taller tree. So all in all, I really like, this is nice. It's come along really well. It's got good, it's much more compact now. See how much more compact it is from side on. It's really come in on itself. And that's probably one of the best changes I've made in the tree. Brought it right in, right nice and close. Definitely needs a new pot. This pot is a big, ugly square one, but it is what it is for now. I won't touch it until next season if I repot it. But the pads have come up really nicely. It's a bit hard to see in the camera, but the pads have come up really nice. Let's see if we can actually, I don't know if we can come in and have a look. So you can see the pads, and there's the apex of that tree. You see the nice padding. It's nice and it looks pretty good. The apex in this tree is a little bit confusing, but I think it's all right. The top there, the middle of the tree, that's come up really well. I think that was all right. That came up good. All in all, I'm really happy with the result. Probably about 3 hours work, all up, three to four, I think, all up, just wiring, rewiring, trimming off what's required. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with this result. It's a big tall tree. You can see it's half my body body width, probably close to a metre in height from the base of the pot. So really nice tree. I'm very happy, and I've just got to let that fill out now. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video, and stay tuned for more. See you later.